Look closely at this single glowing droplet. It represents a massive promise that has completely dominated Korean skincare forums this year. Rejuran began as a clinic-exclusive injectable brand in Seoul, utilized by dermatologists for tissue regeneration. Now they have bottled that science into an at-home topical that has gained massive international traction. The Derma Healer Pore Tightening Ampoule targets enlarged pores by executing two specific functions simultaneously. It clears out the physical debris, stretching the pore open, and it repairs the elasticity of the surrounding skin. We are moving past the old method of simply filling in the gaps. This approach focuses entirely on the structural rehabilitation of the skin itself. If you apply a standard Western silicone primer, you get an instant superficial blurring effect that washes down the drain at night. This ampoule requires time to build a cumulative physical refinement of the pore walls. But here is the catch. You are looking at a formula heavily laced with a multi-acid exfoliating blend and highly active botanicals. That means it absolutely does not work the same way for every skin type. Capturing these clinical results safely requires stringent barrier maintenance and a strict adherence to supplementary protective steps in your routine. Adding this ampoule to your bathroom cabinet is a commitment. You have to alter your daily regimen to safely handle clinical-grade actives. Let's examine how the structural repair actually happens. The primary goal is to rebuild and reinforce the collagen network immediately surrounding each individual pore. The core mechanism here relies on c-PDRN. This is a highly purified, low molecular weight salmon DNA fragment, utilized specifically in medical aesthetics to encourage tissue repair. Over time, pores look larger not just because they are clogged, but because the tissue around them loses its firmness and begins to sag. This diagram shows exactly how that structure degrades. Without strong cellular support, gravity and age pull the dermal walls down, which forces the top surface opening to stretch wide. When you introduce c-PDRN alongside niacinamide, they target those weakened walls. They reinforce the tissue elasticity, allowing it to tighten and narrow the surface back into a tight column. Because this repair is structural rather than a temporary cosmetic fill, the process takes time. You have to practice patience while the cellular turnover does its job. You are trading the instant visual gratification of a silicone blur for permanent structural reinforcement. This makes the ampoule a long-term investment, not a quick fix. While the DNA fragments handle the structural repair, the formula still has to deal with the physical debris that constantly stretches the pore lining open. Instead of relying on a single, aggressive, high-strength acid, Rejuran uses a staggered blend of 4 milder acids, AHA, BHA, PHA, and LHA. This chart evaluates the trade-offs of chemical exfoliation. We map the required effort to maintain your routine on the x-axis against the actual pore refining impact on the y-axis. By spreading the exfoliation workload across 4 milder acids, you get continuous high-impact clearing of the pore lining, but with a dramatically lower risk of acute chemical burns. But that constant multi-layered exfoliation comes with a strict condition. It increases your basal sun sensitivity, making a daily broad-spectrum SPF routine absolutely non-negotiable. To control the oil production that creates the debris in the first place, the formula leans on highly astringent and soothing botanicals, specifically witch hazel, tea tree, and centella. The centella works to mitigate redness, but witch hazel is highly astringent. If you leave it sitting on your skin without sealing it in, it will rapidly dehydrate your face. This aggressive combination of 4 acids and natural astringents demands a strict counter routine. You have to apply heavy moisturizers and SPF daily to prevent total barrier collapse. Understanding the chemistry is only the first half of the equation. You also have to navigate the physical reality of acquiring the product in a saturated global market. The massive international explosion in Rejuran's popularity has inevitably spawned a rampant counterfeit and gray market problem. To guarantee full potency and ensure you receive unexpired stock, you have to source the specific ampoule exclusively through authorized international retailers like Olive Young. This means you must abandon the immediate convenience of Amazon or Sephora and accept slower international shipping times. Navigating this supply chain friction is a mandatory cost of entry. Applying a diluted or counterfeit version entirely negates the clinical science of the formula. Let's move to the practical application phase. We need to determine exactly how you must adapt your routine to safely integrate this ampoule based on your specific skin variables. We can use this decision tree framework to map out your exact application protocol, starting with your current skin profile. If you are an oily, congested optimizer, meaning you deal with excess sebum, persistent uneven texture, and you already tolerate active ingredients, you follow this path. This profile can completely replace their standard single-acid BHA toners with this multi-angle treatment, applying it twice daily. The second profile covers sensitive skin types, or anyone currently applying active prescription retinoids and benzoyl peroxide. If this is you, you must strictly isolate the ampoule. Introduce it slowly, using it only on alternating nights to gauge your tolerance. If you attempt to rush straight into a twice-daily application while using strong retinoids, you risk severe barrier compromise. Finally, we have the dry or aging profile. Your pores are stretching primarily due to collagen loss over time, rather than constant oil blockages. Those potent astringent botanicals will feel painfully stripping to dry skin, unless you immediately seal them beneath a rich, protective ceramide cream. When you correctly identify your profile, source an authentic bottle, and respect strict barrier protections, this ampoule functions as a foundational tool for clinical skin repair.